So hey everybody, welcome back to the graphic Multiverse. I'm your host Paul, joined with Angela.
Hi.
And Rob.
Hello there.
And Chandler.
Hiya.
Hey, how you doing, y'all?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good as well.
Yeah, cool. How you guys surviving this cold ass weather the entire country apparently has been experiencing?
Better than Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say Boston, New York area should be pretty par for the course for winter time.
Yeah,
it's like negative crazy in the middle of the country. Colorado also insanely cold.
Yeah, we were -6 for a minute, but we're okay now.
Yeah, well, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, it's Colorado, you're used to that." I'm like, it's never really that cold.
It's not. Like, that was weird for us.
I mean, like in the winter, it's like a steady 30, 40 degrees, like not bad. So when we get a cold snap,
least equipped for snow though, right? Like if it snows, people have plows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Denver's not great because like the sun comes out like in the afternoon and it melts everything. Mm-hmm. So when we get like overcast and like the snow's still there, like I feel like, the city's just kind of like, oh, like they forgot how to do anything. But yeah. Yeah.
Juan, who's been on the show, he lives in Austin, Texas, and but he's from Boston, so he's kind of like, I don't know why everybody's freaking out. Like, this is...
Well, I mean, there's a lot of damage. Like, their houses are falling apart.
Yeah, different parts of Texas. Electricity in like 4 or 5 days, which sucks.
Yeah. I think it just probably depends on where you are.
I just want to send out all the love to anybody who might be listening from Texas.
Yeah, it sounds
if you ever get power back. No, because it sucks, because then you have the people from the Midwest being like, they can't fucking get ice off their car, and it's like
no,
you leave
suffering.
them alone.
Yeah. They're like actually suffering.
Like they're dying.
And not everybody can just fucking buy a plane ticket to.
They're freezing. Like
Bahamas.
That's not
No
like they're
water.
Like they can't. That's not that's so unfair. That's such like an unfair thing.
Yeah, it's
but
like
also it's a very American
like
thing.
Boston, it's like every landscaper dude has a plow and a giant thing to distribute salt and crap, and it's like in Texas nobody has that stuff.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like they were smart enough not to live like in like the Antarctic. So we're holding them to these really unreasonable standards. Yeah. So I just think like, because people are like falling, they don't know how to handle it, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah,
it's no bueno.
It is no bueno. So thanks for listening. I'm going to send all of our thoughts and prayers to melt the snow. Well, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well, despite all that cold weather and such. I'm also mentioning this for, kind of like a time capsule, so that, when Rob's kid listens to this, like, oh, right, yeah, this was
He's not going to know or care. Yeah. He's not going to care.
He's like, you did a podcast? Freaking loser.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you did a podcast?
Oh,
you
like
and everybody else. Yeah. All the millennials had podcasts. That's like just what you guys did because you're so lame.
Yeah, we didn't.
Ouch.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if like for some reason everybody in Gen Z can like wear makeup and their faces are just beat, and it's like, how are you that good at makeup? Like, I don't understand. Like, what happened? Like, they're like, I'm 35 years old and I can't like overdraw my lips like that.
They don't have awkward faces. It's not fair.
They don't. Yeah, it's like, what? Like, what the hell, you guys?
It's YouTube. The amount of things I've learned on YouTube from young children. I'm like, oh man, I need to fix this electronic thing. And then there's like this 12-year-old kid from Australia, like, all right, then you do this. Then I'm just like, how does this kid know this? Yeah. But thank you. I learned how to fix it.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's sad.
It kind of makes you feel like, where did I, like, what? How did I miss all of this? Like did I? Is that day I didn't go to school? We like kind of learned all this.
How did we make it this far? Seriously, because like it's crazy. Like you go online, it's like I had to learn how to freaking put in a diva cut from some like 13-year-old on YouTube, and I'm like, why do you know this? How come I don't know this? It's not fair.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Well, the internet wasn't as far along in our youth.
That's true. You had to go to the library.
Right.
Yeah, and who wanted to go there to learn?
Yeah. I had an IBM computer, and we had the ski game on it.
Oh, Ski Free.
Remember?
So good.
Ski Free.
Where the Yeti would come.
The Yeti would come because they would just be like, oh, we don't want to make any more levels, so the Yeti just comes out and eats you, and you can't escape it.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Me neither.
Windows 95 had a built-in game called Ski Free, and it's incredible.
Well, my dad refused to get a computer for the fucking longest time, which made high school and college like a nightmare because, yeah, I could never like I'd be like staying so late at like the school library like typing stuff out because, yeah, I remember my dad being like, "Oh, well, I'm in front of a computer 8 hours a day. Why don't I come home to one?" I'm like, "It's for me."
Oh, jeez. Sorry, Paul.
We had computers pretty early on. My dad used them for work, but like I would in the like mid to late 90s, I would just like try to find pictures of Dragon Ball Z episodes that had like aired in Japan 10 years earlier. I was like, what's a Super Saiyan? And then you Google, you find weird naked anime stuff when you're like 10 and you're like, what's happening?
Super Saiyan 10.
Yeah. I didn't see. Sadly, like when I would have those experiences, I would experience them in front of an entire class. Like in high school, we had this math assignment where we had to go to a website called Brain Pop, and I guess I misspelt the name of the website, and something else was popping, and it was just like 9,000 windows opened, and of course I've got my speaker fucking cranked to 11, like
oh no!
I was like, oh my god, I couldn't. I was like, my face was so red, and I produced so much sweat. My teacher was like, "What are you doing?" I went to Brian Pop. Oh well, Brian's having a good time. It was awful.
Remember when pop-ups would be that aggressive?
Yes.
Yeah. What a time to
I remember
you just basically, as soon as like one showed up and then 10 would come up, you'd basically unplug your computer and just throw the monitor out the window.
And in all fairness, even when I got to college, I was still having trouble with computers. Like when I was working in the media lab at Suffolk, and I was like teaching myself guitar, and like, oh, this song has like a G, like a G chord, and I would like basically I would just Google image how to do it, and I did like G string Google image.
No.
And Sasha came by. You remember Sasha, right, Rob? Mm-hmm. Sasha was like the sweetest, kindest like guy, and he was like from Russia, and he was like, "Paulie, you don't need to look at pictures like that. You're a good-looking kid." I'm like, it's like, thank you, Sasha.
Completely derailed as we already are. Speaking of Suffolk funny stories, when I lived in the dorms there. Everybody used iTunes back in 2008, and like if you were in the same network, other people's libraries would show up, so you could like listen to other people's music libraries. And
that's weird.
It is kind of weird. You could disable that, but everybody was too dumb back then. But one kid had videos on his iTunes of people getting spanked. And his library was his name, so we knew who.
Oh no! Find out who it was after these messages.
But yes,
it's awesome.
The internet has been a wild ride.
Yeah, it has. But thanks to the internet, you don't have to go to a movie theater anymore to see that trailer you wanted, because you can get them all online now.
That is true.
Because back in my day, when I was a youngster, like 2001, I really wanted to see the Two Towers trailer, but again, not having access to a computer. You know how many fucking screenings of movies I would sneak into just for the credits?
Aww.
Like, and I think it was like The Ring 2. I finally saw the Two Towers trailer, and I totally got caught. And I was like, I just want to see the Lord of the Rings trailer. I don't even like The Ring. I just want Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll go. But yeah, you can get trailers now. They're released. It's instantaneous. Today we got Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Sorry, you were gonna say something.
No, your segue was too good.
Not really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was effort, and I support it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm very tired.
I gotta say, I have no like nostalgic love for Mortal Kombat. I was always like a Street Fighter kid growing up when it came to my fighting games. But I know enough about Mortal Kombat. But that trailer looked rad as hell.
Yeah. when Sub-Zero like freezes Scorpion's blood and like stabs him with it and then throws him into a wall of ice, like god damn, that was like, oh, I feel like I'm watching the game, and in a good way.
I am super excited, and I'm hoping that there aren't a lot of character reveals like there, because there were characters that I really wanted to see that I didn't, and I'm hoping it's because they're trying to like, I don't know, do a reveal later, because we did get like a little like snippet of what was it, Baraka, like in like a weird mural thing.
Oh yeah, it's like oh yeah, I love that every culture has a tournament. Like thanks, Sonya.
I don't know. I like the lady that's playing Sonya Blade. I'm like, she looks very white, and I'm like okay with that. But like, I want Johnny Cage. I don't see Johnny Cage, and I don't see Katana. And the thing that weirds me out about not seeing Katana is that we know that Molina's in it, and Molina is like a clone of Katana. So I'm like, where's Katana? But we are getting Kung Lao, so
that's pretty cool.
I'm really happy about that, with his like hat that like slices people's heads.
I like how there's like one clip he's like using it as like a shield, like deflecting shit, and yeah,
it's so much better when he cuts people.
I hope they recreate the scissor scene with Kano and Sonya. Oh, give me a break. Okay.
You know, I love that first Mortal Kombat movie.
So
like
good.
we watched it recently, and I was like, you know what? Like, there's
so
some
good.
stuff that doesn't hold up, but there's some stuff that really holds. Like that intro with the flames.
I really hope if they can like just do that hardcore techno in the opening, I would be really happy.
There's a little bit of that sampled towards the end of the trailer.
Yeah, but with like the fire coming through, like the symbol, like the emblem, it's like, oh god, yeah.
And I feel like one of the things I love about that movie was the fact that Goro was like a giant fucking puppet, like wasn't CGI, but CGI Goro.
But we did see Goro, and I'm like, oh my god, like, so I'm hoping, like, I don't know, I'm really hoping that I get some like Katana.
Well, I love that we get like a backstory for Scorpion. Like it seemed like fucking feudal Japan.
No, there's like, no, that's the thing though. Like these games are like really great. There's like so many awesome like stories like behind. I'm really into Mortal Kombat.
I hear the stories are super fun for like what they are.
They're so freaking fun. And so it just, I don't know, there's like some characters that I really want to see. Shut up. Don't make fun of me. There's some characters that I really want to see, but the backstory is like, I know that Sub-Zero becomes Noob Saibot.
What a noob.
Noob Saibot is like the
3 Sub-Zeros.
So, well, and I saw in the character listings, there's like this Cole Young. I'm like, who the fuck is Cole Young? There's no Cole Young in the game. He's like, his whole family's there. There's like an Emily Young and like some other
He's like
Young.
Audience insert character.
Well, and so people on Reddit were like, oh, he might be like Johnny Cage. And it's like, no, there's another thing. They think he might be Sub-Zero.
Oh.
He might be the next Sub-Zero.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and you guys know I'm all for diversity, but I feel like Johnny Cage is one of those characters where I feel like his ethnicity is important.
Oh, yes.
Him being an entitled white action star is like so crucial. Like I don't want any other.
I want Johnny Cage.
You might save him for the sequel and then kill him off in the first 5 minutes. Like it's actually the sequel.
No, like Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah.
I feel like the best part about these like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter is that like diversity is just inherently built in. Like the casts are just like, let's bring them all in.
International tournament.
Oh, speaking of international tournament, I couldn't wait to watch the trailer. Angela could, so I was like, oh well, there's a trailer in Russian, and I watched it, and it was fucking hilarious because they all sound like Zangief.
Nice.
And it's like it's just like Jesus, like yeah, I don't really know what Russian sounds like, but it was funny to hear like Sub-Zero.
I'm just excited as just like a kind of like crazy heightened action movie, like a martial arts movie, because the hand-to-hand combat and stuff they showed looked awesome. And I just looked up the director, and he's never made a movie. He's a commercial director. He's like barely worked in movies at all, which is
some of my favorite films. Some of my favorite films ever were made by guys that just did commercials. It's true.
It works.
Yeah,
well for a lot of film directors, that's where they start.
Yeah,
dude, David Fincher, like he did commercials, music videos.
The guy that
Michel
did
Gondry,
the guy that did House. Really? Nothing?
Oh, the Japanese house?
Yeah. House. That story is amazing.
And that was a weird hour and a half commercial.
That was weird. Well, no, because in the 70s when Jaws came out and it was like a huge success, Japan was like, oh, we want a Jaws. We want that here. Mm-hmm. So they reached out to this guy who had done commercials and he said, hey, can you give like Japan like a Jaws? And he said, yeah. And he did House. And he was not setting out to make a horror movie in any way, shape, or form, but it is horrifying. And he thought he was making a whimsical story about like friendship.
Yeah, with death.
And a piano eats a chick.
Like a human eating house. Cool.
Yeah, like it was, but yeah, and it was very whimsical, but it was also very horrifying. So that makes me happy.
Cool.
That's what I got.
Yeah. Is he just trolling or is he like honest?
I of course he was being honest, because that's the most quintessential Japanese thing ever. It's like so honest.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think it's cool that this guy's, you know, like he kind of getting a big break, and Mortal Kombat I feel like is that's a big fucking break. And isn't James Wan producing it, like the guy who did Saw and
I wouldn't be surprised. That guy is all over the place.
One of the Furious movies. Not too fast, but kind of furious. I don't know.
I'm just really excited, and I know I'm gonna like it. If the soundtrack's fun, it doesn't matter.
You know what I gotta say though, I love the explanation for why Jax has robot arms that were fucking frozen and snapped off.
Yeah, that was really scary. That was a crazy scene.
That was dope.
I mean, the violence in it was great because, I mean, I'm glad it's rated R. I'm glad there was like a red band trailer for it because you don't want to sugarcoat this.
Because it's Mortal Kombat. You know, you expect people to like reach in and like pull their hearts out like through their fucking eye sockets.
Yeah.
Like that's like Mortal Kombat. That's what you expect.
Right. So I was happy about that. I love that Raiden isn't a white guy.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
That was nice.
I like seeing the temple for Shao Kahn?
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the hammer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm just excited for all of it. I think it looks good, and it looks like that they really took their time to like, I don't know. I feel like get it right. Like I feel like I'm hoping this was like worth the wait.
The only thing that I am going to miss, and I feel like we need to do like an in memoriam for this in particular, is in the original Mortal Kombat. What's his face's hair?
What's his face?
Yeah, the main guy.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang.
Oh yeah.
Liu Kang's hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His hair.
He was a good Liu Kang too.
His hair was amazing. His hair was like feathered. It was like the most 90s feathered hairstyle ever, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I will miss it.
Yeah. I liked that actor a lot. And I liked, what was it, the whole storyline with his brother and, like, it was his grandfather. Yeah. It was and his grandfather was, like, a monk, and he's like, oh, you got my telegram. Your brother is dead. We don't believe in phones, but telegrams we can work with.
Yeah.
I just looked up an image of him, and just his face with that middle part and that beautiful hair, that's what I think of when I think of the 90s Mortal Kombat. Just him.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, like that, his hair, oh my God. Everybody's hair in that movie was kind of incredible. But
yeah. Also, that guy who played Johnny Cage is pretty good. Wow, Paul W.S. Anderson directed that movie. That explains so much.
I like a lot of his movies, even though they all kind of suck in their own way.
Well, you know what? Dude, Event Horizon, I fucking love
that
Event
movie's
Horizon.
great.
Yeah.
And apparently, I think Shout Factory, like they're trying to do like a Blu-ray release, and I guess like there is like a bunch of footage that they shot that they didn't use, and so they're trying to restore it to what Anderson had in mind. So I would love to see that. But even regardless, I mean that was such a good movie. Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, so good. Hellraiser in space.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is that because there were so many things about the 1995 movie that were just like just the unnecessary use of like braids Like there was that guy who was like fighting. He was like in the tournament. He's like some random guy fighting, and he had the most elaborate braids with like beads. It was just flipping around and like, oh my god.
There was like a slow mo shot where he gets like hit, and it looks like the beads just slap him in the face. And I'm like,
it's like
that looks like it hurt.
It's like a triple hit.
Yeah,
just the braids.
It wasn't the punch that knocked him out. It was the beads.
It was the beads.
That would probably hurt though. Have you ever been like, you have like your sweatshirt drawstrings and those hit you in the face? You can only imagine a head full of beads.
I've had braids with beads because I am a black woman that lived through the 90s.
I'm so sorry.
And that shit fucking hurts. You get hit in the face with it.
Good lord. But I'm excited. I think it looks great. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, I hope it's good, and I'm happy that I don't have to go to a theater. I'm happy the option is there, but given everything that's happening right now, very happy to enjoy it from the comfort of my own home. And it's kind of cool that Warner Brothers, they're releasing a bunch of stuff.
Oh my god, I found a picture.
Godzilla versus King Kong. Did you guys see that trailer? Mm-hmm. Holy shit! What was it? King Kong has like a hammer made just for him, and he's fucking knocking Godzilla's fucking beams away from him or some shit. Remember that? And he's on a boat, and Godzilla comes out of the ocean, and then rap music starts. And
oh my god! And I was so happy. Like I couldn't tell you what happened in the last Godzilla movie.
I never saw the last one.
you.
There's so many.
I don't know what the plot was.
They went to Fenway Park,
but I was happy that they were like fighting. There was like
but they also kind of teased like that Godzilla might not be acting like himself, because remember the humans are like, why is he? Something is aggravating him. Yeah. So maybe he's got like, I don't know, like a stomach ache or something.
I'm trying to remember
I want this fight
because as a child I watched the original Godzilla vs. King Kong all the damn time, and that movie holds up in the wrong way. It's so bad, but it is so incredible. Just like all I just remember is just as a kid, like Godzilla being like asleep in an iceberg. And then there's like a 5-minute scene of just the dude in the suit going like this in an iceberg and just breaking up all the ice. And then King Kong shoves a tree into Godzilla's mouth. I hope they bring that back. They have that call back.
Yeah, because so we in that same day release on HBO Max. So we got that. There's a couple of other movies coming out. There's that one with Jared Leto and Denzel Washington.
That just came out. The Little Things.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. And then next month we got Justice League coming out on HBO Max, and so we also got that trailer of the Zack Snyder.
I think
Justice
I
League.
Pulled a muscle from rolling my eyes so hard.
Really?
Like you know how your mom's like, if you do that your eyes will get stuck. I think mine almost did because I was judging it so hard.
Yeah, you
to
were.
me, I was just watching it and I was like, yeah, it kind of just looks like the Justice League movie again, but like trying to be cooler.
I mean, it was cool to see Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I don't know. I can't get that excited about it.
Just the intro. What was he's on his knees and he's screaming, and you could see like the fucking Sonic like echoing through the city. Superman's hurt, you guys.
I forgot it was so visually busy.
It is
so much going on.
It's just such a like, oh my god.
Black suit Superman.
Yeah, that's cool.
I just feel like that's not how I want to see Superman.
Yeah, no, that movie.
If you're gonna do Black suit Superman, do him with like the 90s mullet.
Oh, of course.
I feel like that movie is basically like when people are like, what is toxic masculinity? It's like, here you go. Watch this movie. Just watch it.
Yeah.
Just watch it. You see how it makes no sense? It makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, and then
at all.
and they're adding so much more to it. Like, cause Jared Leto's Joker wasn't in that, but now he is. Yeah. And he talks about living in a society.
Yeah.
I don't get that meme, but apparently there's some meme that people were freaking out about.
Well, I just love, like, it was like, we live in a society, don't we? Batman. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of meaningful dialogue and necessary symbolism.
No, like, you know, sometimes I feel like when I watch a movie that I feel like somebody just like listened to some music and like basically like wrote down stuff that they want to hear in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then like built a script around that.
It's just one really long trailer.
Yeah.
4-hour trailer.
But I don't know. It's like I would love to love a Justice League movie. And I'm not even like opposed to like dark superhero movies. Like, I don't know, I like dark comic book superhero, like Dark Knight Returns and stuff like that. Just a lot of Batman stuff tends to be dark, but I don't know, like my favorite like Justice League thing is like the New Frontier. You know, I just want some like bright, hopeful, optimistic Superman.
I think that's the thing is you can have dark superhero movies that fit the character. Like if you wanted to do like a dark Hellboy, okay, cool. You know, dark Punisher, cool. Superman, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I want to see it.
Yeah, it's like the Batman, the trailer for the Batman that came out way back. Like that looks super dark, but you know, it's fitting. Yeah, it's Batman.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to see the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie where he's running around in the rain.
Yeah, it's like sad. Weird crit. He's like, Tails is dead.
Yeah.
There is, if anybody's interested, there is an amazing video essay on Zack Snyder on YouTube by a creator named Curio. That's Curio. And it's like a feature-length film, basically, but it's a video essay all on, I guess, just Zack Snyder and his whole like aesthetic. And I strongly encourage people to see it because you can't really unsee it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Can you give us some observations?
Well, a big like he has like a very he has a very
Ayn Rand, right?
Very Ayn Randian like view on the world and how limiting it is to his like character development and how he is pretty much the worst person to give the reins of Superman to, like because he doesn't understand like on a fundamental level. Like it takes somebody who's obsessed with Ayn Rand and like have him write Superman, and that's what you get.
Took one college course.
That should have been like the slug line for Justice League. It's like Atlas Shrugged with capes.
It's really just bleak, and like everything is just I can't do it justice. That's why I suggest that people go out.
I see what you did there.
I didn't mean to, but thanks. I'm not gonna take credit for that. But I definitely suggest that people go and like look into it because it is really fascinating and and it makes you and you know it's so funny because I used to be a huge fan of like Sucker Punch and
it's really with that movie because that was like such a visual serve and it just like didn't really do anything with the plot. But
it looked cool. It was a giant samurais with Gatling machine guns. It looked cool.
It was visually like really amazing, but like it's so bad. Yeah. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. So I just check it out.
Yeah, I feel like
it's called like Zack Snyder, A World Based on Spite, and by Curio. You should check it out.
Because, like, visually, there's some cool stuff in those movies, but it's just, like, I feel like on just, like, a base, like, character level, he just doesn't get the point of, like...
No.
Yeah. Juan says something funny about Zack Snyder. Just the way he phrased it, just, like, how he's just, like, an idiot. But, I don't know. Well, you know, and this whole Justice thing... It's really weird because I know there are like so many people that like don't like you know Zack Snyder and his work, and then but it's I don't know, like it's so complicated because at least as far as I know Zack Snyder didn't treat his cast and crew the way that apparently Joss Whedon has.
Yeah.
And a lot has come out about, you know, and it started like 3 or 4 years ago. Like it was kind of like trickling out, and then
there were things kind of left unsaid. I think with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Joss Whedon.
He also was recently like quit/removed from like an HBO series that he was heading that was in mysterious terms.
Yeah, it is, and as the story is unfolding, it's just like layers and layers of just kind of awfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't dug too.
It just feels like he was like, I mean, like, because I'm reading some reports where like some people are like, well, he never said anything to me, but there's other people who are like, this totally happened. So it's like kind of like interesting to see like how he kind of like, I guess, singles out people for harassment.
Yeah, so basically Ray Fisher, years ago when Joss Whedon's like ex-wife like divorced him, she kind of made this public statement being like, hey, I know he's like, everybody parades him as this huge feminist, but he's not. Watch out. Like, that's me paraphrasing. And then Ray Fisher last summer kind of came out talking about the reshoots and how problematic that was. And Ray Fisher's the guy who played Cyborg on Justice League, and talking about the Justice League reshoots and how it was really problematic with Joss Whedon. But it wasn't just Joss Whedon. It was like Jeff Jones and like one of the other like DCU execs that were really like awful and like racist and sexist and he wanted like, and the reason why he came out publicly is because he wanted a proper investigation done, because he didn't feel like the investigation was actually going anywhere. It was just like them trying to protect their friends, and Joss Whedon was the one that was kind of left out to dry on that one, because he wasn't the only one, but he kind of got all the focus on that. So definitely, I mean, if you're unfamiliar with it, like look into it, read up on it. There's a lot there, and it's worth looking at. But the way Ray Fisher was treated and how he's basically removed from the Flash movie, and he's not playing Cyborg anymore, basically for being a whistleblower. And then one of the Buffy/Angel actresses,
he has a Charisma Carpenter,
has come out and like said some stuff. And then of course the Buffy cast is like rallying behind her, because they're like, yeah, this shit happened, because at the time these things were totally acceptable. And I don't know, I think as people within this fandom, we have a lot, I think, of reflecting to do.
Yeah, I think especially with, I mean, it's, you just can't help but feel bad for, these actors who, they can't speak out, because if they do, their career's over, and it's just kind of amazing the amount of protection that a lot of, these people get, because they make other people a shit ton of money.
Which is crazy, because there's so many other people that could make them just as much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a good old boys club in the industry. So.
Yeah, it's just, I was so bummed to hear about all that, because I held Joss Whedon in such high regard, because, like what he did for like female empowerment and science fiction and fantasy. He also wrote probably my favorite X-Men Cyclops story of all time, so that sucks. Not that that's like the worst thing, but as a Cyclops fan, it's like, oh, come on, man.
I mean, I think
we're such good Captain America dialogue.
We're living in such an interesting time, because we have like these creators that have pretty much like written all of our like nostalgia, and things that we love about, comics and books and movies. Like, I mean, the things with J.K. Rowling and all this stuff. You have these big creators and these big names that are just kind of like, we're realizing like, yeah, they're human, but they're also like doing some really shady stuff.
There's human, and then there's like, ugh, that's gross.
Yeah, they're doing some pretty gnarly
it's
things.
It's always just such like a disappointment, and I mean, yeah, obviously the people that are victims of these people, it's horrible, but just like, as a fan, it's just finding out somebody like that is, I remember hearing like when Max Landis was like Me Too'd for being a nightmare human, and it was like right after I'd read Superman American Alien, and I was just like, man, what a great Superman story. It's like he gets Superman, and then you find out this person who's like a fucking monster wrote this like
Yeah.
I knew something was up when he was talking about how was it Rey from Star Wars? What did he call her? Like a Mary Sue, and everybody kind of like got up on him, and I was like, I mean, this is kind of a weird thing to say, and then eventually all this shit came out, and it's like, yeah, it's just like, it's like, why are the people who like write good altruistic characters are secretly fucking assholes?
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. It's because they can pretend. They can hide amongst us.
Well, I mean, the system is pretty much designed to support them.
Yeah.
And it's minorities, people of color, women.
And I think that's the thing.
Who don't get those platforms, but the guys that are already there get totally.
Well, I think that's why it's interesting that you have like some people who, they will like rally behind people who are making these claims, but they don't have any instances or experiences like, like I think there's a reason why like Charisma Carpenter, came out and has this experience, and Ray Fisher comes out and has this experience, but Jason Momoa doesn't, or Chris Evans doesn't, because it's like, oh, is it because I'm sure if you're white and male, you probably had a good time with with Joss Whedon. If you're other, God help you. And I'm wondering when or if anybody from Marvel will kind of come out with anything. I mean, I know they're not coming out defending Joss Whedon, but I'd be curious to see if there are any stories behind Avengers or Ultron.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be, I mean, I'm sure only time will tell. But I think it's important that people, can definitely take from these stories, like from the content, like of these films and these stories, and that if it lifts you up, awesome. But like, and that's okay. But and if you are interacting with these things and you're like, oh, this guy was horrible, I just can't reconcile that. That's okay too.
Yeah.
And I think that we as just an audience and like as fans, I think that we need to just kind of like give ourselves that grace to react.
Right. Because I don't think that, just because the person who created the art wasn't genuine doesn't mean that the feelings that person's art gave you aren't,
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about like so many people who love Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter got people through like some dark points in their lives, and I hate it when I have friends that I talk to that like Harry Potter got them through tough times. Like, oh, like I can't with Harry Potter now. I don't want my kids reading Harry Potter, and it's like I don't think you should let that affect the relationship that you have with the art, especially if you got something profound out of it, if it helped you through something. Yeah. I don't think it should change. Maybe don't support J.K. Rowling anymore. Don't.
But like, there's so many other. You also gotta realize with a lot of these creators that there are so many other people who participated in and like
especially in
made
movies.
this really.
Oh yeah,
like there's so many people, like actors and writers, and
it's like with Kevin Spacey. Because I was talking about this with my friend Will. He was like, "Oh, Kevin Spacey is one of my favorite actors, and I can't watch any of his movies now." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like." Don't not watch Baby Driver because of him. Like, enjoy it for Edgar Wright's direction, or like, don't not watch The Usual Suspects because Kevin Spacey and, fucking Bryan Singer is an asshole too, apparently. But, I mean, like, Gabriel Byrnes is fucking great in that movie. Like, the script is great. Like, there's other things that, like, I feel like people, like, don't have to be punished. It's sort of like, kind of like when I had mixed feelings about The Cosby Show. Mm-hmm. Like, when The Cosby Show got canceled, I was like, why is the rest of the cast being punished? Or what was when not The West Wing, House of Cards?
Mm-hmm.
Because that show got canceled. It's like, why does everybody have to lose their job because somebody was an asshole?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, write him off the show. Like, have him fall down an elevator shaft. I don't give a shit. I mean, like,
I think didn't they do a season of House of Cards without him?
They did. That's right. They did. But I remember at first that wasn't the case, though. I remember like it was like, oh, we're shutting down. I was like, man, that sucks. Like, can you imagine like showing up to work? Oh yeah, shooting's canceled because Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, on
like,
a show like that, there's like hundreds of people who work on it, and like.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to, it also, there's so many levels to it. And like I said, I think it's like, it's something that we are going to have to talk about, and we are going to have to like reconcile, because, like, why do these individuals have that amount of power to like destroy a show? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah,
it
because I mean, it does feel like, oh, we're not going to address it. We'll just cancel it and pretend it never happened.
It's not fair. It's not fair for the people that they're, because it's not just the victims that they've hurt. It's also like everybody else who's tied to these projects that they're tied to, that they're hurting as well.
Yeah, and I think how you respond to something like that says so much about your brand and your company. Like, you look at all the stuff that Disney put out, like, what was it, Steamboat Willie or Steamboat Mickey,
Steamboat Willie?
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, remember like at the beginning of every Disney movie, oh, it's Mickey on a boat, it's so cute and it's wholesome, and you watch it and you're like, holy fucking Christ, this is disturbing.
Yeah.
And rather than Disney being like, that didn't happen, they got it on Disney Plus, and they can say like, hey, like, this was created at a specific point in time.
A very different time in our history.
Exactly, in American history. They do not reflect the values of Disney now. So I think it's good that you don't erase the history, acknowledge it. And then I feel like now it's cringy, but it's also like a good learning tool to be like, wow, shit used to be like really, really bad for, for entertainment, because it was created and viewed through such a very limited lens.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring this to an even darker place, and I'm sorry.
Sure.
Bring a flashlight.
Bring a flashlight, guys. It's gonna get fucking real.
I have a gas light, just to not I meant like a gas lamp, not.
Paul's gonna start gaslighting.
I don't condone gaslighting.
Yeah. Get out. No. No, I think that it's really important, because we're just these like rando like podcasters that are, just having fun and talking about the things that we love. And I think that there's always this knee-jerk reaction to when things like this happen, where it's like, oh, well, let's not talk about it because we don't really want to involve politics in what we're discussing. We don't want to involve like any of these like real world things in what we're talking about. But I think we as a society and as a culture are coming to understand that like this stuff is ingrained in everything that we consume and everything that we enjoy. Like racism is a part of everything. It's in all of the systems.
Oh yeah.
All of the systems, especially the systems that entertain us. And sexism is in all of these systems. And by not talking about these things, we're continuing to perpetuate it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely a way that we can go about talking about it, but ignoring it is no longer going to be an option.
No. I mean, especially because I feel like we're making so much progress that, even within our lifetimes, like you look at certain movies and, that you're like, oof, wow, like that shit did not age well. Like, even like Bill and Ted, it's like so wholesome and has like a great message about, unity through music. But like the fag jokes they drop in that first movie is like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's some, but we gotta talk about these things, and because that's the only way it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And I feel like this needs to be said too, especially for, I think white men in particular right now are feeling ultra attacked because...
Sorry, Chana's pointing fingers.
Yeah. Because white men
I'm like, oh, we're all going to get it.
White men are feeling ultra attacked right now because, it's kind of like... What's the saying? Chickens coming home to roost. I don't understand it. Yeah. I'm not a farmer. I don't know. But I don't know. But, things are coming to a head right now. And, this a lot of white men are feeling attacked, and they're feeling like they're losing their grip on their identity. And so, which is leaving things open to them being radicalized and going like ultra right wing or doing like these dangerous things. And I think that white men, I feel like I came up with this analogy. I was talking about this morning. It was a never-ending story. This is the most millennial thing I will ever say. I think white men in this country think that they're Atreyu and they're going on this like quest and they're the protagonists of this story. And what they don't realize is that they are living in this system that all of these systems that have been quote unquote benefiting them have been robbing them of their humanity and their empathy. And they don't realize that they're Artax and they're up to their neck in the swamp of sadness, and black women are the ones trying to like pull them out, and they're just sinking. And that's like the closest thing I can like describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of like, I don't know, making horse sounds, like we're just like America.
No.
Yeah. Like, oh, America. Like, yeah, like bootstraps. Like, it's like, no, all of these, like, all of these things
these colors don't run.
Yeah, all of these things are hurting you. These systems are hurting you, like, so bad.
It totally makes sense.
We gotta fix
wild
it.
Place.
It is. And so, yeah, like, I want to, like, I guess, like, as, like, being on this podcast and, like, doing this, I want to, like, I say a lot of wild shit all the time.
You haven't seen the unedited stuff.
I say many wild things.
Yeah.
But, like, I, like, am coming from a place of serious love because, like, we got to make the world, like, better. I mean, yeah. Like, Rush Limbaugh's dead, and he definitely did his hand at making this world a really shitty place to be in, but he's gone now. and we got some work to do, guys.
People being sad about Rush Limbaugh, like, I don't get it. This dude, like, was on the radio celebrating people dying of AIDS.
Oh,
yeah,
constantly.
Oh, God.
Constantly.
All week I've been seeing people be like, I don't like to celebrate death. But...
No, because I remember
so much for being pro-life. He died anyway.
When Osama bin Laden was like, they were like, oh, we got him, you know, and everybody was like celebrating the street. I was like, this feels wrong.
It sure did.
Like,
this
feels wrong. I can't celebrate somebody dying. And then, like, and I was like, this, I don't know, like, I don't want to feel holier than thou, but I never want to celebrate somebody's death. And then Rush Limbaugh died, and I was just like, yeah, okay. I'm okay.
I get it now.
I get it now.
Yeah, it's so weird because I remember when Bin Laden was caught. I mean, even like people who were like, you know, on the right that were like, couldn't be happy about it because, well, it happened while a black man was in office, and then, like, I don't know, Trump farts and they act like it's a fucking miracle. Like, it's so weird.
I remember I was in college, and like a bunch of guys were just like, America, fuck yeah, it's like blasting out speakers, just like drinking outside. And it's like, it's like,
you guys don't get the point of that movie.
Yep.
They're making fun of you.
Yeah. It's like, oh dear.
Yeah, so I know, I'm sorry, this like took like a
also,
darker
that song
turn,
is on my
but...
July 4th playlist.
Very nice.
Your what?
My July 4th.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But yeah, so I'm sorry for bringing this to such a, like, a heavy place, but it's just, I think it's important to talk about these things, especially because the longer we go without talking and addressing this stuff, the more these stories are just going to keep coming out, because the more we're just like protecting and uplifting these people who don't deserve to do the shit that they're doing.
They ain't shit.
They ain't shit.
Safe space for bigots.
No, they ain't shit, and they shouldn't be there because there are plenty of people
there's so
who
many
deserve to be there,
talented,
who aren't assholes.
super nice people, and they should be getting all the money and all the work.
Yep.
Yeah.
True that. Like me.
Yeah.
And Rob.
Yeah.
Right.
Paul should be getting the jobs.
I should what?
You should be getting the jobs.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Everybody should be getting
I'm hoping
the jobs.
Follow
your dreams.
I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm hoping to be like Alan Rickman. I'm gonna make it big at 42. So I got time to be in my generation's version of Die Hard. I'll be like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
How long do you think?
That's our show. Bye.
Do you think they would ever try to reboot Die Hard?
I wouldn't.
I hope not. I really hope they don't. They'll try. They will. If it's awful, they're gonna do it.
They're gonna, yeah.
If it's horrible, they'll totally do it. But I don't want them to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Die Hard is a movie. Talk about a movie that like it's.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. Some things haven't aged well, but that comes with the territory. That's kind of why I hope that we get another Die Hard or two. Just because I do, for the most part, with the exception of that time when John McClane was in Russia, I kind of like the idea of like John McClane like growing older and the world is changing around him, and and like and trying to keep up. I think would be kind of cool.
That was the last one, right? With him and his son in Russia or something. That was it was a truly terrible movie.
That was like a rejected pilot for 24. Like it was just like, but Live Free or Die Hard, while not great, it was fun. Also, Timothy Olyphant was the villain, and he was chewing up the scenery left and right, and it was great. And Justin Long, America's favorite sidekick.
I watched Die Hard with Vengeance 4 months ago. Like not too long, recent enough that I remember it. And the fight scene in the elevator from Winter Soldier, they totally borrowed that from Die Hard with Vengeance, because he's literally in an elevator with it's like the exact same scene. I remember watching it being like, this is Captain America.
yeah I thought that too, and instead of being like, anybody want to get out, he was like, hey, what was the lottery numbers last night? My wife plays the same number like every it was, and then it's just like elbowing and fighting and stuff, and the great thing about what I always loved about John McClane was that I just love the perseverance he embodies, because he is just like beaten to a pulp at the end of each movie, like bloody and dirty and limping, and like it's just like, yeah, man, don't give up even when you're walking through broken glass.
One of the magical things about John McClane is like he is such an imperfect person, and I think one of my favorite moments in any film was when he was talking about like, tell my wife I'm sorry.
My wife has heard me say I love you 1,000 times. She never heard me say I'm sorry.
Self-awareness.
That's a great.
Oh my god, am I protagonist?
Right?
What?
Right?
And he says it while like fucking pulling glass out of his feet. So yeah, you could be soft and vulnerable, and be a badass at the same time.
Like he owns the fact that like, the movie starts, he's not on good terms with his wife, and he's trying to like, when they first start talking in our office, he's like actually like trying to connect with her, and his pride just gets in his way. He knows his pride has gotten in his way, and when she storms off, he's like just
hitting his head against the wall like smooth John.
Yeah, he's hitting his head against the wall because he's like, why can't I help myself from being a dick? Like he is so self-aware, and like,
well, not every man.
Not every man, because these days you don't get protagonists like that. They're always right. Like, they're in their mind, they're always right, and he is so flawed, and he grows.
Well, and not just John McClane, but the supporting characters, Al. He's got such a great arc in such a small amount of time, because like his I think John makes a joke about why he's like at a desk eating Twinkies all the time, and like and he gets some great dialogue. Like he says something to the effect of like in the academy they teach you everything except how to live with a mistake. And he talks about how he shot a kid. And it kind of coming to terms with to live, like he never pulled a firearm again, but then he does it in the end. But it's almost like it's
like the
redemptive.
level of like healthy male vulnerability in Die Hard is, I think, and I think this is some profound shit I'm going to say. I think it's comparable to Lord of the Rings.
Have you seen
Die Hard?
Have you seen Have you seen Ted Lasso yet?
No.
If you guys,
it keeps popping up on my screen every time.
Emotionally intelligent man bonding, you got to watch Ted Lasso. That is
okay.
I'm sure a lot of people have said it, but it's like it's the most like anti 2020 thing to come out of last year. It's like every episode just makes you feel so warm and hopeful for the universe.
Oh.
And it's like
That's good to know.
Yeah, because the trailer you
because
watch
every time
and
I
you think it's just going to be like a cynical, like, oh, an American football coach is going to teach soccer. And you're like, oh, that's
like,
lame.
it's a
But
sports
all it is
thing,
really
yeah.
deep down is just this, like, character arc of this man, like, coming to terms with getting divorced. But everybody... It's so freaking good.
All right.
And I like that actor too, with the mustache.
Serkis.
Yeah, I think he's hilarious.
That show is so good.
And I have a slight crush on him.
I have a crush on Ted Lasso, but everybody, you need to watch that show. It's on Apple TV Plus, which is kind of weird, but you can get like a free year just by saying you want one. And and you'll watch.
Okay, cool.
It's like I got a free 18 months, and I don't even remember why. I just had an email one day. It's like, here's your pass for free Apple TV, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool stuff.
All right. Good job.
God, it's so good. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. No, but I feel like Bruce Willis has it in him for at least one more Die Hard. I wanna see, and I want it. Well, maybe I'll pitch this next time, because you know me, I have all these ideas for movies, and probably 90% of them are shit. This might be one of them, but I have outlined for fun a Die Hard movie starring Bruce Willis, Octavia Spencer, and Christoph Waltz.
Cool.
Those are my...
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So whoever the powers that be, whatever racist, misogynistic white men are out there, we got a movie idea for you.
Yeah. You know, to quote Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock, I'm a white man with hair. The sky's the limit. I don't really believe that. I just want to make sure, like, wow, this...
We know.
Okay.
We know. Yeah, this episode, like, I don't know what we're going to title this episode, because it's like...
You suck, Whitey.
What happens when things start getting real?
White devil.
The real world, Sheboygan.
Oh my god, you guys.
I made a Sheboygan joke while watching RuPaul.
You did.
Remember what was that queen's name? It was like Paris, New York.
Milan.
Yeah. I was like, Paris, Milan, Sheboygan.
That's a deep cut. None of our listeners are going to get that. Except the one faithful listener who always tunes into our inconsistent release schedule. It's like, I remember
years of continuity.
They were talking about Sheboygan years ago.
It's like my sister, Kristen, who like listens. It's probably just like, oh,
I got that one.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about, but I knew that.
Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Good old
Is your
Sheboygan.
Die
Someday
Hard
we'll all
idea
go.
more grounded like the first Die Hard? Good.
Yes.
They need to take it. If they do a last Die Hard, I just want them to scale it back. No more jets. Just a guy.
No,
my
Oh, you don't like the whole like Fast and the Furious thing where
I
like
love the
cars
Fast
are
and the
like
Furious,
tied
but
together
I don't
like
want Die Hard to be
nunchucks?
that.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you know what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna have like Charlize Theron in like a robot like mecha suit with two cars like attached to each other like with chains like nunchucks. Vin Diesel's in one. Yeah, Vin Diesel's in one, The Rock's in the other, and she's just
that sounds amazing.
Cars.
I love those movies. And I remember seeing Fast 5 in theaters. And like the movie opens and like it's just like the dumbest shit happening, and I remember just like sitting there just being like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but smiling like I haven't smiled in years.
I'm trying to get Angela to watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh my god, Hobbs and Shaw is amazing.
So fucking hard. It's
Come
so
on,
hard.
But listen, I feel like The Rock
and Jason Statham have so much sexual tension. It's astounding.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and Ryan Reynolds.
Now, gentlemen, you have my interest.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah, there's like an actress in there, and there's supposed to be something between her and The Rock, but it's like, no, it's all Hobbs and Shaw.
It's totally like, it's totally, they're like, you know, it's like, oh, I could beat you up. No, I could beat you up. And really, I feel like they're just fighting over like who's going to be the bottom. Like,
just staring at each other, flexing this close to each other's faces.
Yeah. All like sweaty and like, and like they do it while like a car is like upside down. Oh yeah, and fucking Idris Elba's in it as Black Superman, which is what he kept calling himself. But only Idris Elba can sell that.
It's true.
He's Idris Elba. He's like, oh, I'm Black Superman. And like, yes, you are, sir. Here's $20 more.
We need to talk about Idris.
We're always looking for an excuse to talk about Idris.
We were listening to... Okay, this episode's all over the place, but we were listening to the Calm app, and he does a sleep story on it, and we were so excited.
Cannot believe it bringing this up.
We were so excited. We're like, ooh, let's listen to Idris. And like his accent, like he started reading and it deteriorated fast, like so fast. Because his accent started off like kind of like a nice posh London accent. And then it just deteriorated to like
19th century chimney sweep.
Like Cockney. Like it was just like, what?
Ooh, the accent's slipping.
It was so...
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, like here we are, like over the moors of Ireland, and you can see the flowers sweeping, and you know the breeze coming off the ocean, and cockles and mussels for sale. Like, we got flowers here, flowers.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like it was like, holy shit! Did I press a button on my phone that changed? Like, is that a setting?
We were.
It's like slick English accent or fucking.
We were dying. Well, and because like to open the episode, they're talking about what was it? Like not the red nose thing. It was like
it was red, like
for AIDS.
Yeah, right.
The red for like the AIDS awareness
yeah.
and
not red nose, but
not red nose.
Is that what red nose is?
No, it's just red. It's just red.
It's just red.
Just red. And it was for AIDS awareness and like. And so we're laughing because he sounds ridiculous, and we turn it off, and we're like calming down, and it's like, how did this happen? And Paul, in his just amazing way, just goes, "We got AIDS." Really loud.
I do not believe you threw me under the bus like that.
It was so good.
It's good.
No.
It's good.
Because like, well, yeah, I mean, because it was just so like out of nowhere, like he's giving this like beautiful impassioned
like,
bit about yeah, and it was just like, yeah, so yeah, I was trying to do like the cockles and mussels thing, like flowers for sale, when it was like AIDS,
yeah,
we got AIDS. Like, Jesus Christ.
And, yeah, it was horrible, but it was so funny, and so yeah, you guys should totally listen to it on the Calm app.
Yeah.
Oh. That was it. That was the story. I'm sorry.
Which feel free to edit out. Yeah, but no. Anyway, but back to the question that Rob asked about an hour ago. My Die Hard.
I forgot all about that.
No, it's over. Next time.
Well, I'm gonna answer his question. I'm just gonna say yes. My Die Hard is like back. It's like stripped down, like back to its roots. Very little CGI, like all in-camera effects. And next episode, I'll give my pitch with sound effects and music and my best Bruce Willis impression.
Wonderful.
My name's Bruce Willis, and I'm in the new Die Hard movie. It's gonna be great. Me and my friends, you know, we're jumping off of wagons and running from barrels filled with stinky fish.
Actually, if they remade Die Hard and it took place in 1819 and John McClane was a chimney sweep.
Is Constable McClane. I can't believe my wife left me again. She won't talk to me via telegram. I keep knocking on her door 2 a.m. She won't come to the door.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was like, John, stop your screaming. It's 2 a.m. Sorry.
Oh,
God. It's Andy Serkis as John McClane.
Nice.
I'd watch it. I'd be so
And
down.
Andy Serkis as everybody else. like
Just mo-capping everybody else.
like Andy Serkis as the barrel. Like Andy Serkis as the sail.
God.
Andy Serkis as the poverty.
What was this episode? Seriously,
it started off somewhat.
Listen, we talked
actually,
about...
that's a lie. It started off completely off track. We were talking about weird internet shit. But
we talked about like our childhoods with or without internet. We talked about news that happened today. We talked about important stuff that's happening in the film industry, and then we talked about Idris Elba, and cockles and muscles and chimney sweet McLean.
Yeah, I mean, we basically covered the notes
that's
that we
sent
over earlier.
That's it.
Yeah, Die Hard by Gaslight.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Yippee-ki-yay! Mother Weta?
No.
I had a good run.
You did, and then you ruined it.
Yep. That's what I do. So, what have we been reading this week? What are we watching? What are we doing with our time?
Oh man!
Other than making excuses to not record this podcast.
I've been reading the Dawn of X titles, the X-Men line currently going on from Marvel. I've read the Fallen Angels Volume 1. It was I think it was supposed to be ongoing, and they kind of canceled it.
I didn't like Fallen Angels, but maybe you and I could talk about that on another episode.
A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was actually pretty cool. It's I don't know if anybody is aware, but like in one of the things coming out of Dawn of X is that Psylocke, the character who has historically been, I guess for people who don't know, Psylocke is a character who's originally a British woman her mind has been transplanted into a Japanese woman's body, and now she, for like decades, has been
problematic,
like a psychic assassin ninja lady. So one of the things coming out of Dawn of X is that now the two people have separated. So Psylocke, the original Betsy Braddock, is back in her original English body. And then the person, the Japanese lady, her name is Quanon. She is now back in her original body, but is now using the moniker of Psylocke, while Betsy is now Captain Britain. So Fallen Angels follows Quanon / Psylocke as she's kind of reclaiming her life, and we kind of delve back to her backstory. It's actually really compelling. I like the way it's written.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I've been known to be wrong. Maybe I'll revisit it.
Yeah.
I heard the first
issue shorter. That's all I gotta say. But it was really good.
Okay. The first issue I like struggled through because I was so excited for all those X titles, and that one was like, oof.
I need a list of which X titles I should read, because I read the first, like, what was it, like 2 years ago at this point, when Hickman kind of relaunched X-Men. I read all of Hickman's stuff, and then I fell off again.
I mean, I like it. I mean, in typical Hickman fashion, it's weird, and I feel like it's going to be one of those things where when it's done and you can see it for the tapestry that it is, like his Fantastic Four or Avengers should be like, holy shit, this is really cool. He's still
leading the ship for X-Men?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, maybe I'll jump in.
Yeah, I think reading his X-Men after the House of X, Powers of X, I think it's cool, and I definitely do like the, yeah, I like where it's going, and I like that. I feel like the fucking love triangle has been resolved between Logan and Jean and Scott, and because I was kind of getting over that, so I'm glad that they were like,
Yeah, and they're not even like really writing about it. So like, as far as I've been read, like it's not like really even it's a non-issue. They're all just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
Are they in a polyamorous relationship now?
It's like hinted but not explicitly stated. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean,
but I like that Emma's in it too.
Yeah,
so it's like
everybody's getting theirs.
Yeah, on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only X-Men I read was, what was it? X-Men Legends? That one you said we should read?
Oh, did you read it? What'd you think?
It felt exactly like I think it was intended, a comic book from 1992.
Yep. Yep. Adam X, which is super fucking 90s.
So this takes place in the 90s, right? Like,
yeah, it's like it's after a specific issue too. Like I think they say it's like after X-Men issue.
It's a Captain Marvel. I saw like a Captain Marvel issue that ties into it a lot.
So
you might need to give me some context, because I'm intrigued and I'll keep reading. But from the first thing, I was just it's been a long time since the 90s.
Yeah. Well, so one of the big things in the 90s was that there was this classic scene, which at the time I thought was so well written, and I read it now and it's stupid, but I still love it. It's It's Cyclops talking to Mr. Sinister in the woods, because that's what you do when you have like a fabulous cape like that. You hang out in the woods, and he's talking to Scott, and he says something to the effect of like, "Oh, I'm going to keep an eye on you and your brothers." And Scott was like, "What?" And Sinister was like, "What?" And like, you said brothers. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You said you're going to keep an eye on me and my brothers. I only have one. Oh, did I? Oh, whoopsies. How funny. Yeah, whoopsie daisies. So then there's a whole like, well, who's the third Summers brother? And we never found out really until Ed Brubaker wrote Deadly Genesis, which was like the appearance of Xavier after House of M, where you find out that he had another team try to save the first round of X-Men on Krakoa. And you learn that Vulcan, the X-Men Vulcan, is the third Summers brother. So it's interesting that I think like writers from the 90s like Fabian Nicieza are, I think, kind of finishing the story that they wanted to tell. So I don't know if that means now that there's 4 Summers brothers.
Or does this live outside of continuity or something like that? Maybe?
Yeah, but then it says in it like, oh, like this story takes place after X-Men issue something, and Captain Marvel, so it definitely fits in the chronology. I'm actually okay with there being more Summers brothers, because I always thought that Gambit should have been a Summers brother because of the like how his powers and relationship with energy is similar. He's got wonky eyes, and I think Chris
got wonky eyes.
Yeah, he does. They're pink and black. That's wonky. And I guess Chris Claremont, I think he had intended this and was able to do it in that X-Men miniseries, X-Men The End, where you find out that Gambit is a clone of Cyclops created by Mr. Sinister, because Sinister fucking loves the Summers genes. And so that's what that's all about. And I thought for first issue, I mean, I'm a sucker for 90s X-Men, so I was hooked on the idea of those 90s writers coming back and doing it.
I thought it was interesting. I think the art, it's like doing the 90s thing, but not doing the 90s thing for me, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you got to get somebody like Adam Kubert in there.
Yeah, I mean, if they actually could somehow have got
Rob Liefeld.
Like, it seems like they're trying to do their best Jim Lee Liefeld combo thing, but I'm like, I feel like you should have just gone full, just got someone.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm curious to see what happens next. I was kind of surprised that the majority of that issue took place in a cornfield.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah.
But I mean, it 100% feels of the time though. Like,
yeah, it was that Cyclops' dad shows up at the end, like Corsair, leader of the Starjammers, which I'm totally down for a Starjammers movie, even though it might feel like a ripoff of Guardians. I don't care. I want it. But I love that he just shows up, and he shows up in a spaceship, and he's like, "Stop fighting! Get into the car! Bring your brothers!" And they're like, "What? Brothers? You said brothers. Just get in the fucking car." So yeah, how about you, Angela?
I haven't been reading anything.
Been watching anything?
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay, you want to talk about RuPaul?
No.
Okay. RuPaul's Drag Race sells itself. Doesn't need any promotion.
We're rewatching like the older seasons, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for WandaVision.
Tomorrow, or probably tonight, if you listen to this tomorrow when I upload it.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the twists and turns of that. Yeah. And I have been reading a bunch of old Avengers issues. I've read the first 40 or 50 issues of Avengers, and that's been fun, kind of seeing how quickly that roster rotates. It's kind of surprising. Because like right now, like Iron Man and Thor are gone. And Giant Man and the Wasp just came back. They recruited Wanda and Pietro. So the timing of this is pretty cool, because they keep talking about their life in the fucking mountains in Europe. And Hercules just joined it. It's like, oh, who can we get who's like beefy and godlike and kind of be like, like the fish out of water? Hercules. So it's been a lot of fun.
I always like Marvel's Hercules.
Yeah, I'm hoping he gets an MCU treatment, which I don't see why he won't.
Eventually.
It's like, Yeah, it's like, oh, Mount Olympus. It's like Asgard. It's like another type of ancient aliens. I'm sold. I can't wait. But yeah, but in the meantime, I think it's going to do it for us. Because I think I'm starting to lose my voice, actually. It's what talking in a British accent does to you. I also want to know, Chandler, I really fought the urge to not do Ninja Psylocke with an old-timey English accent.
Oh, man.
Thanks.
I would have liked that.
Thanks. Maybe for the review.
Okay.
But yeah, as always, thank you so much for listening. Definitely feel free to drop us some love. We're on iTunes, Instagram. We're pretty much any place you can find a podcast except... Is it Stitcher that's giving us a hard
Stitcher's
time?
there. Spotify is giving us a hard time.
Spotify. We'll work it out someday. But in the meantime...
Okay, bye!